My sister-in-law accused me of cheating because my baby looked like her fiancé. You don't expect family to turn on you in the first week after giving birth. You expect meals dropped off, late-night check-ins, a soft blanket, maybe a card. What you don't expect is for your sister-in-law to look you in the eye and say, "You and Tyler were screwing behind my back, weren't you?" That was the moment my daughter stopped being a baby to her and became a weapon. Let me rewind. My name is Emily Harper, and I just had my first child, Maya, 7 pounds, 6 ounces, full head of dark hair, and the most serious little stare you've ever seen. My husband, Mark, and I live in Denver, just outside of city center. We've been trying for almost 2 years. 2 miscarriages, 3 fertility treatments, 1 failed implantation. So when Maya arrived, it wasn't just a birth. It was a resurrection. Until my sister-in-law, Jessica, decided Maya didn't look enough like a Harper. Jessica is intense. She's always been a little dramatic, the kind of woman who cries at her own birthday party because someone brought the wrong frosting. But I didn't expect her to accuse me of having an affair 6 days postpartum. She's engaged to Tyler, who works in IT, wears boat shoes year-round, and hasn't looked me in the eye since this started. Apparently, when Jessica came to visit Maya for the first time, she took one look and froze. Didn't say she was cute, didn't ask to hold her, just stared. Then she left early. I thought maybe she was just overwhelmed. Maybe seeing someone else have a baby reminded her of her own struggles. I gave her grace. That was a mistake. Before we go further, don't forget to like this story, hit subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss what happens next. The next day, she called Mark. Said she had concerns. Said Maya looked too much like Tyler, same skin tone, same eye shape, same dimples. Mark thought she was joking. Until she said this, "I'm calling off my wedding until Emily takes a paternity test." I was breastfeeding when he told me. Still half bleeding, exhausted, nipples raw, body barely held together with surgical glue and painkillers. And he says, "Just thinks Maya might be Tyler's." I laughed. Then I realized he wasn't laughing. "You're serious?" She's not letting it go. That night, I didn't sleep. Not because of Maya, she was an angel, but because the walls of our house felt thinner than ever. I could hear my in-laws whispering in the guest room. I could feel the tension at the dinner table. I noticed how Tyler suddenly stopped showing up with Jessica for family visits. 3 days later, I got the message. Not a phone call, not even a voice note. A text from Jessica. "I'm not saying it has to be public, but if you want me to stay in this family, you need to prove Maya isn't Tyler's." I threw the phone across the room. Mark picked it up silently and said, "We can get the test. You want me to take a paternity test because your sister has a hunch. It's just to shut her up. That's all." No, it wasn't. It was the beginning of a fracture I didn't know how to seal. I said no. Firmly. Repeatedly. I told him, if she wants a test, she can lawyer up. Then I blocked Jessica's number. Thought it was over. Thought maybe it would burn out on its own. I was wrong. Because the next thing I saw was a Facebook post. Public. Posted by Jessica. No names. No photos. Just a cryptic caption. "Some people give birth to lies." Hundreds of likes. Dozens of comments. Even a few mutual friends replying with, "If it's who I think it is." "I'm so sorry." I was shaking when I showed it to Mark. "Do something," I said. "What do you want me to do?" "Defend me. Your wife. The mother of your child. The woman who just almost died to give you a family." He just stared at the phone. By that evening, someone had DM'd me screenshots from Jessica's private Instagram story. She had posted a side-by-side photo. One of Maya. One of Tyler as a baby. Same angle. Same dimples. Captioned, "I just want the truth." Is that too much to ask? My hands were shaking. My C-section scar felt like it was ripping open again. I called my mom, crying. She told me to leave the house, pack a bag, go stay with her. But I couldn't, because Maya was sleeping on my chest, and I wouldn't let Jessica's delusions steal one more inch of this moment. So I called a lawyer, explained everything, and she told me something that changed everything. If she keeps this up, you don't need to prove anything, but you can sue her for defamation, especially if it affects your marriage or your child's medical record. I asked if that was overkill. She said, "No, it's protection." That night, I made a decision. If they wanted proof, they'd get it, but not in the way they expected. Mark drove me to the clinic. He didn't say much on the way there. Neither did I. We weren't talking. We were just managing the fallout, managing his guilt, my rage, and the thick, suffocating silence between us. They took samples from me, Mark, and Maya. Tyler was never involved. Didn't show. Didn't offer. Didn't say a word. Jessica didn't need real evidence anyway. She had her Instagram poll. When the results came in 4 days later, they came by email. Subject line, paternity confirmation, Harper, Mark E. I opened it at 4:42 p.m., alone in our living room. Maya was asleep on my lap. Mark was at the hardware store. My hands were shaking so badly I almost hit delete by accident. But I opened it and read it out loud. Probability of paternity, 99.9997%. I sat there for 2 full minutes, then laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I'd been walking around for days like I owed the world a defense, and I didn't. Now, I had proof. When Mark came home, I held up the phone. You want to read it? He did. He read it in full, then sat down hard like someone had punched him in the chest. She was so sure, he whispered. Because you let her be. He didn't answer. Just looked down. And I realized, right there, that this wasn't just about Jessica anymore. This was about how long I'd been biting my tongue to keep peace in a family that never once protected me back. I didn't just send Jessica the results. I printed them, put them in a manila envelope with a handwritten note. I don't owe you this, but here it is. Frame it. Then I drove to her house and left it in her mailbox. But I wasn't done. That night, I took a photo of Maya sleeping on my chest. Same angle Jessica had used for her comparison story. Posted it on my own Instagram. Captioned it, born out of heartbreak, carried in hope, delivered in truth. 100% ours. 100% loved. And no, she didn't get her dimples from betrayal, she got them from joy. Thanks for your concern. I didn't name anyone. Didn't tag anyone. But the people who needed to know? They knew. It blew up. Friends messaged me nonstop. Emily, this is savage. Finally, someone says it out loud. You're a better woman than me. I'd have burned her whole wedding dress. Even some of Jessica's old friends followed me and DM'd me privately. She's been like this since high school. She ruins everything she can't control. You handled it like a queen. Jessica's response? She deleted every post. Took down her Instagram for 3 days. Blocked me, Mark, and even Tyler for a while. Which was interesting. Because if she was so sure I was the villain, why run? Mark apologized again that weekend. Not in a grand way. No flowers. No speeches. He just came into Maya's room at 2 a.m. while I was rocking her and said, I should have shut it down sooner. I let her get in my head. You let her plant poison in our home. I know. I don't want her around Maya anymore. I mean it. Okay. I mean it, Mark. I said okay. But it wasn't over. Because while Jessica went quiet publicly, privately, she started turning the family against me. I got a call from Mark's cousin, Ashley. Hey, just wanted you to know, Jessica's saying you overreacted. That you're weaponizing the test to make her look crazy. I laughed. She did that all by herself? She also said you threatened legal action. I'm considering it. Ashley paused. Good. Then came the group chat message. Mark's dad, Richard, dropped a classic boomer line. We're a family. Let's not air dirty laundry on social media. Let's remember to handle things with grace. I replied, where was that energy when your daughter called mine a bastard? No reply. Left the chat. Then came the wedding fallout. Tyler messaged me. Out of nowhere. I didn't know she was going to do that. I never said Maya looked like me. I never believed it. Then why didn't you say something? Because I knew if I defended you, she'd accuse me too. You let her tear my life apart. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be gone. The wedding was postponed. Jessica claimed it was stress. In reality, half the guest list was now taking sides. And most of them weren't on hers. 1 week later, Mark came home with an envelope. She sent this to me at work. Inside was a card. A picture of a broken heart. Handwritten note inside. Families are torn apart when women won't stay in their place. That was the last straw. I sent my lawyer everything. And she sent a formal cease and desist. Jessica was ordered to stop all communication, directly or indirectly. And if she wanted a future relationship with our daughter, she'd need to meet us in family court. You know what's funny? Jessica said I was dramatic. That I was making everything bigger than it was. But the woman who accused me of cheating, spread it online, and humiliated me 6 days after giving birth, filed in family court. Claimed I was withholding her niece out of spite. Yeah, she wanted visitation. Court ordered. Like she hadn't tried to torch my entire life. The day we got served, Mark sat down on the stairs like the gravity finally hit him. She's really doing this, he said. Of course she is. This is insane. No, Mark. This is Jessica. Unchecked. We called Kendall, same lawyer who helped during the DNA mess. I brought her everything. And I mean everything. Screenshots from Jessica's Facebook, the Instagram poll comparing Maya to Tyler, the DM she sent my coworker calling me a homewrecker with a baby. The card with the broken heart, the cease and desist. She ignored a printed log of every harassing text and voicemail. Kendall looked over the file and said, "Let her bring the drama. We'll bring the receipts." Court was scheduled 2 weeks later. Jessica showed up in a cream blazer and ballet flats, hair pinned, makeup soft, like she was starring in a Lifetime movie. She had a lawyer, too. Some guy who smiled too much and opened his briefcase like he was auditioning for a legal drama. He started with, "My client only wishes to repair the relationship with her niece. She has been unfairly denied access due to a misunderstanding that was addressed." Kendall stood up without flinching. "Your Honor, what was addressed is that my client was publicly defamed, privately harassed, and digitally slandered, all while recovering from surgery and caring for a newborn." She held up the file. "We have documented proof of everything, including threats, manipulation, and smear tactics from the petitioner, who now seeks to reinsert herself into a child's life she tried to disown." Jessica turned red. Her lawyer looked at her, then at the judge. "Your Honor, if I may," the judge raised a hand. "I'll be the one asking questions here." Then he turned to Jessica. "Ms. Carter, did you post a public comparison between this child and your fiancé?" "I was emotional." "Is that a yes?" "Yes." "Did you demand a DNA test?" "I asked for confirmation." "Did you call the child's mother a liar?" "Not in those words." "Did you suggest the child wasn't your brother's?" Silence. Then, "Yes." And just like that, her whole case cracked. The judge leaned back and looked at us. "It seems to me that your primary concern is not the child's well-being, but your own wounded ego." Jessica tried to cry. "Real or fake? Doesn't matter. The courtroom doesn't care if your tears match your narrative when the timeline says otherwise." He denied her petition. Stated clearly, "No court-ordered visitation, no future claims without significant behavioral change, a 6-month review restriction on any unsupervised interaction, no contact unless initiated by Emily or Mark." Jessica's lawyer didn't even fight it. He just nodded and packed up his files like a man who realized his client lied on the intake form. Outside the courtroom, Jessica tried to speak to Mark. He didn't stop walking. She called after him. "You used to trust me." He didn't turn around. When we got home, Maya was asleep in my mom's arms. I kissed her forehead and felt, for the first time in months, safe. Safe in my body. Safe in my home. Safe in the knowledge that people could scream and accuse and file and cry, but they couldn't change truth. That weekend, Jessica made a post. Classic martyr move. A photo of a rose left on a bench. Captioned, "Sometimes you do everything right and still lose everything." I just wanted to love her. No tags. No names. But enough mutuals knew the story by now. Comments were mixed. "She deserves better. This is heartbreaking. I hope one day you can reconcile." But my favorite? "You should have never gone after the mom. She didn't owe you anything." Mark showed me the post. "Want me to report it?" "No," I said. "Let her grieve the fantasy she created. We're living in reality now. She hasn't tried anything since. But she still watches. I see her view my stories sometimes. She made a fake account, then forgot to hide it properly. She sees Maya smiling. Sees me laughing. Sees a family she tried to break standing whole. Some people say forgiveness is power. I disagree. Boundaries are power. And mine? They're court-enforced. You think you're safe when there's a court order. You think a judge's signature and a list of rules will be enough to keep someone from crossing the line. Turns out, court orders only work on people who care about consequences. Jessica wasn't one of them. It had been 6 weeks since the family court ruling. 6 weeks of quiet. No messages. No cryptic social media posts. No anonymous letters. Just silence. Almost too quiet. Then came the call. I was in line at the pharmacy, waiting for Maya's infant reflux meds, when the daycare number popped up. The second I saw it, my stomach dropped. They never called unless something was wrong. I answered on the first ring. "Hi, this is Emily Harper." "Hi, Mrs. Harper, this is Sandra from Little Sprouts. We had an issue during pickup." "What kind of issue?" "A woman claiming to be your sister tried to sign Maya out." I dropped the prescription bottle I was holding. "What did she look like?" "Blonde. Late 30s. Designer handbag. Called herself Jessica." My heart started pounding. "She is not authorized. She's not family. She has a court order against her. We stopped her before she got into the secure area. Our front desk recognized her from a photo you left. We've already called the police." I closed my eyes and tried to breathe. "Is Maya okay?" "She's fine. She didn't see her. One of our staff members took her to a separate room, just in case." I picked Maya up 15 minutes later, hands still shaking. She was coloring with one of the teachers, completely unbothered. Thank God. But I wasn't. Because this woman had shown up at my daughter's daycare, like the court didn't matter. Like my voice didn't matter. Like she was still owed something. When I got home, I called my lawyer. She tried to pick up Maya. In person. In broad daylight. Did she make contact? No. But she identified herself and attempted access. Good, Kendall said. That's enough. She filed a motion the same day. Violation of the no-contact order. Trespassing. Child endangerment attempt. We added video footage from the daycare, written statements, and her full name. The police knocked on her door that evening. And this time, they didn't come to talk. They came with a warrant. I didn't find out until the next morning when I got a text from Mark. Jessica's been arrested. 3 words. I stared at them for a while. Not with joy. Not with glee. With finality. Because now it was real. Now even her parents couldn't explain it away. Now even the people who once said, she's just emotional, had to face the truth. She wasn't just emotional. She was dangerous. The news made it to Facebook before we said anything. Of course it did. Jessica's friend group, the Brunch and Blame crew, posted vague updates. Pray for people who are going through it right now. Not everyone heals from family betrayal the same way. But the real story? Started spreading through DMs. One of her ex-friends sent me a screenshot. Jessica, bragging in a group chat. They won't stop me. Maya is blood. Emily can't keep her from me forever. Blood. Always that word. Like it granted her rights. Like it canceled the trauma she inflicted. Like DNA gave her permission to erase everything else. Mark and I sat down that night with a bottle of wine we'd been saving since Maya's birth. We never got to drink it before. Too much chaos. Too much tension. But now, it felt right. Do you think she'll try again? I asked. Not unless she enjoys concrete walls and metal toilets, he said. We clinked glasses. For the first time in months, I believed him. Court moved fast. Jessica's lawyer dropped her. Said she withheld information. Translation. She lied. The judge reviewed the footage, read the statements, and gave a ruling in under 10 minutes. Permanent restraining order. 0 contact until Maya turns 18. Criminal record sealed only if she completes court-mandated therapy, a probationary period, and 100 hours of community service. Her parents tried to intervene. Richard and Donna, the same in-laws who stayed silent when she attacked me, called Mark and left voicemails. This is too far. She's still your sister. You're going to split this family in half. Mark didn't answer them. He just sent them the judge's order with a single message. Then you're not on our side. Blocked them both. We changed daycares. Got new locks. Filed a report with the school district so that when Maya enrolls, Jessica's name is already flagged. Because this time, I'm not waiting for the next violation. This time, I'm building a fortress. A week later, I found a note slipped under our front door. No envelope. No name. Just handwriting I recognized. You've destroyed everything. Are you proud of yourself? I hope you tell Maya one day what you did. I crumpled it and tossed it straight in the trash. Because I will tell Maya one day. But not that story. Mine. I'll tell her how I protected her. How I stood up when no one else did. How love doesn't always look like Sunday dinners and matching pajamas. Sometimes it looks like restraining orders. Sometimes it looks like courtroom transcripts and therapy sessions and locks on doors. And she'll know this. Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who guards your peace. It was a Sunday. Quiet. Maya was napping on my chest. Mark was folding laundry, slowly, like he finally had space to think. No tension. No noise. Just silence. The kind you forget how much you missed. Then his phone buzzed. He picked it up, looked at the screen, and frowned. Block number, he said. I watched as he opened the message. His face changed. He didn't hide it. Didn't pocket the phone or say I'll check it later. He walked straight over, sat next to me, handed me the screen, and said, read it. This is the last one. The message was long. Too long. Desperate, dramatic, manipulative, everything Jessica did best. You don't understand what she did to me. You let her turn you into someone you're not. You abandoned your own sister for someone who slept her way into this family. You let her poison your daughter against us. I will never forgive you for choosing her. But I will always love you. At the end, one line stood out in red text. One day, when she leaves you, remember I was always here. I read it, scanned it again, then looked at Mark. He was already watching me. I didn't respond, he said. I didn't expect you to. I blocked the number again. Okay. Then he said something that stopped me cold. It's over. He didn't mean the message. He meant the tie. The cord that had always been there, stretched between them since childhood. The one she used to tug guilt, to twist affection, to drag him back when he got too far from her shadow. It snapped that day, and the relief on his face was something I'd never seen before. I always thought blood meant you had to forgive anything, he said. That you could never cut family off. That if you did, you were the problem. He looked at me. Eyes tired, voice quiet. But I watched what she did to you. To Maya. To me. And I realized she was never family. She just shared a last name. We sat there for a long time. No one said a word. Just sat with the grief and the clarity. Grief for what could have been. Clarity about what never was. Later that night, he did something that shocked me. He picked up his phone, opened the family group chat that had been dead since the court case, and typed a message. Effective immediately, we're removing ourselves from all family events. We will not be attending Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays, or reunions. If you support Jessica, you do not support us. Don't ask us to forgive what you stayed silent about. We are choosing peace. Please respect that. He had sinned, then left the group. Blocked half of them on the spot. I didn't say anything. Just reached over and squeezed his hand. That night, for the first time in months, we slept. Actually slept. Not tossed. Not turned. Not listened for strange sounds at the door or rechecked the baby monitor 6 times out of anxiety. We rested. Because the threat was gone. Not just physically, but emotionally. She had no more hooks in our home. In the days that followed, the silence wasn't empty, it was healing. We took Maya to the park. Got coffee like we used to. Watched old movies without checking our phones for family drama. Even Maya changed. She giggled more. Cried less. Children feel chaos, and she'd been swimming in it since birth. Now, she was finally safe. And she knew it. I started journaling again. The first line I wrote? This isn't what I wanted, but it's what I needed. Mark asked me once that week, if she came back in 10 years, actually changed, what would you do? I didn't hesitate. I'd thank her for finally walking away. It's been a year. One full rotation around the sun since everything burned down. Since the court dates. Since the daycare call. Since Jessica looked at my daughter and saw scandal instead of soul. And honestly, I wouldn't undo any of it. Not because it didn't hurt, but because that pain cleared out every single thing that didn't belong in our life anymore. Our house is quiet now. Not silent, just peaceful. Maya turned 1 last week. We threw a small party. No drama. No fake smiles. No holding our breath because someone in the room might snap. Just the 3 of us, me, Mark, and Maya, plus my mom, a few close friends, and a house full of balloons and frosting smudges. That night, I watched Maya eat cake with both hands, completely unbothered by the world. And I thought, you have no idea how many wars I fought to make sure you could smile like this. A few days later, she was playing with a toy phone, babbling into it, dragging it around the living room. Then she looked at me, tilted her head, and said, Mama. Yeah, baby. Jess. My heart paused. I hadn't said her name in months. Not around her. Not around anyone, really. What about Jess? I asked carefully. She looked at the toy, then back at me. She gone? I nodded. Yeah, she's gone. She blinked. Nodded too. Good. Later that night, after she went to sleep, I sat on the couch with Mark. Do we tell her the story one day? We don't have to, he said. But I think we should. When she's old enough. I want her to know what we did to protect her. She'll know, he said. Even if we don't say it. But I want her to know why. Why what? Why I picked her over family. Mark looked at me. That wasn't a hard choice. It was supposed to be. Not for you. A week later, I wrote it all down. Every bit. The story of what happened from start to finish. I printed it and sealed it in an envelope marked, for Maya, when you're ready. I don't know when she'll read it. Maybe at 16. Maybe 30. Maybe never. But it's there. Because I want her to know that her existence was never a scandal. She wasn't born from betrayal. She was born into war, and won. Sometimes I still check the locks. Still pause when I walk by the daycare. Still flinch when I see a blonde woman with a sharp jaw and a fake smile at the grocery store. But then I hear Maya's laugh. And it goes away. A friend asked me recently, would you take it all back if you could? And I said, I'd take the pain back. I'd take the anxiety and the exhaustion and the fear. But the clarity? The boundaries? The proof that I'll burn bridges before I let my daughter be disrespected? No. That stays. A few nights ago, Maya was playing with her blocks. She looked up and said, Mama. Yeah? You fight for me. I smiled. Every time. She nodded and kept building. Then paused again. I'm glad you picked me over family. I didn't even know she understood what that meant. But somehow she did. That's when I knew she'd be okay. She didn't need a perfect past. She needed truth. And she has it now. So do I. If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it too.